My parents always taught me that family is everything. They said it so often that for years I believed it without ever testing whether they actually meant it. But that illusion shattered the night they handed me a folded envelope at the dinner table. An envelope so thin, so deliberate, it felt heavier than anything I had ever carried. We weren't a dramatic family. No raised voices, no broken plates. Silence was always their preferred weapon. That night was no different. My mother served dinner as if nothing was wrong, the scent of roasted garlic drifting through the room while my father sat unusually straight, his eyes fixed on his plate rather than on me. Something was off. I felt it before anything was said. Then my father cleared his throat. "We need to discuss something important," he said, sliding the envelope toward me with 2 fingers, like he didn't want to touch it for longer than necessary. I picked it up slowly. My hands didn't shake, but my chest tightened in a way that made breathing feel optional. The envelope wasn't sealed. Whatever they wanted me to see, they wanted it immediate, unavoidable. Inside were disownment papers. Not a letter. Not a conversation. Not even a warning. Just legal documents stating that I was no longer their son. My mother didn't look at me. She stared at her plate, her fork still in her hand, as if she just remembered she hadn't finished her vegetables. My father leaned back with a calmness that felt cruel. It was the kind of calm people have when they've rehearsed something and convinced themselves it's justified. "What did I do?" I asked quietly. My father shrugged. "You chose your own life. Not ours." For a moment I just stared at them, 2 people who raised me now acting like landlords evicting a tenant. I placed the papers back on the table, my fingers brushing the polished wood. Silence stretched between us, thick and suffocating, yet I felt a strange clarity settle over me. Anger? Of course. Betrayal? Absolutely. But panic? Not even close. I had prepared for life on my own, and the world had already taught me how to survive when those you love turn away. Then I reached into my coat pocket and pulled out a sleek black folder. I had been waiting for the right moment, and the moment had arrived. I slid it across the table, my eyes locked on theirs, calm as if I were offering them dessert instead of a life-altering truth. The folder contained the $7 million contract I had been negotiating for months, an opportunity so powerful it could reshape the company I had built from the ground up. I didn't speak. I didn't explain. I let the numbers, the signatures, and the weight of ambition do the talking. My father's hand trembled ever so slightly as it hovered above the folder. My mother's fork clattered against her plate. I watched their faces, the subtle shift from confidence to disbelief, the way the air between them suddenly became electric with tension. They had expected me to crumble, to beg, to plead, but instead I had done something they never anticipated. I had reclaimed my power in the most silent, unarguable way. "You think this changes anything?" my father asked finally, his voice a mix of incredulity and fear. I smiled, a slow, deliberate curve of my lips. "It changes everything," I said, my tone steady. "For both of us." For the first time that evening I felt the weight of truth, pure, uncompromising, undeniable. They realized that disownment wasn't a weapon in my life. It was a gift they had unwittingly given me, freedom to act without guilt, without hesitation. The rest of the dinner passed in a surreal haze. My parents stared at the folder like it was an artifact from another universe, their earlier composure shattered, replaced with a mix of shock, confusion, and perhaps the first taste of regret. They had believed their silence, their withdrawal, could control me, but they hadn't accounted for my patience, my preparation, or my unwillingness to be defined by their approval. I pushed the folder back toward them once more. "Decisions have consequences," I said quietly. "You chose yours tonight. I'm choosing mine." The words landed heavier than any argument could have. No shouting, no accusations, just truth as cold and precise as the numbers printed on those pages. For the first time in years, the air felt different, charged not with fear but with clarity. I wasn't just a son or an heir or a reflection of their expectations. I was someone who understood power, someone who understood timing, someone who understood that respect isn't given. It's earned and sometimes reclaimed. They didn't speak again that night. They couldn't. And as I cleared my plate, I realized the irony. By trying to break me, they had set me free. The contract, the folder, the calm I carried, it was more than money. It was control restored, justice delivered, and a future no one could dictate but me.